Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin. This is episode, I think, 330. We've made it all the way to 330. We started in 2019 and we've just been recording almost every week, trying to put as many episodes as possible. I'm here recording this episode live from Emma Avenue in Springdale. I am joined by someone who I've actually wanted to be on the podcast for a bit. Some of you might see her in Downtown Springdale all the time, dancing away, building relationships, talking to people. With us today, we have Dancing Vicki, the face of Downtown Springdale. Vicki, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Feel like a lot of people that come to Downtown Springdale, they see you here all the time, and most of the time they see you dancing. And I think you're someone that, you don't necessarily prioritize sharing your story per se, because you just want people to be happy with, your dancing, your art, everything that you do. But I'm glad that you took on my request for you to be on this podcast and for you to talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I feel honored and privileged, so thank you so much. And if you'd like me to start at the beginning of this particular story, I shall do that.
Please do. Tell me how it all started.
Okay. I was a performer for many years, sang since I was 4, and I was a dancer and an actor. Singing was something that I did constantly. I pretty much ate, slept, and drank singing for many years. Life took over. Some tragic events in life took over, and I stepped back from all of that. And in time, it just seemed like it was another lifetime in terms of performing. But when I lost my brother in 2018, the day before my mom's birthday, tragically, things got worse. And then the next year, my parents passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, they passed away a month apart. And I was still grieving my brother. And it turns out that family just some of them betrayed me. There was a false police report to keep me away from my dad's stuff. I got that call the day after my mom was buried. So if you can imagine what that would feel like, it turns out that eventually it was just a fabricated thing where they digitally used the Elm Springs police department number, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. And my family would not stand up to the family members that had done this. It ultimately started with the fact that my dad's death certificate was left somewhere for me to pick up. And a stepsister-in-law, she took it. And so I asked for it back, and it turns out that she didn't appreciate that. So, which is hard to understand. But she and my sister-in-law had become very close during the time that my dad was dying. And my mom was in rehab, having gotten pneumonia. So I was told that, my stepsister-in-law wasn't happy that I had asked for that back, even though it was mine. So the next thing you know, there's this call, the false police report to keep me away from my dad's stuff. And my family did not stand up for me. They did not confront my stepmom or my stepsister-in-law or my sister-in-law. And they said, we know, that you've done nothing wrong, but, we're close to them. And so, so I was left alone to grieve 3 family members alone. 3 family members with, my sister had been here. She'd helped out with bills and, very supportive. I mean, it's her mom too, dad and brother, but she had to go back to Florida. So I was alone grieving these 3 people, And a cousin reached out, was on that side of the family, but he wasn't involved with the betrayal and those that chose not to stand up for me in my darkest hours. And I was so thankful. And we were going to go to lunch, and I just felt like I was coming back to life a little bit. And he died a month later. So I began to just fall apart. And I decided I didn't want to be here anymore. And so because of that, I put a rope around my neck. And something said, could you make one more call? Just make one more call. So I did. Now, it happened to be a police officer, but a friend of the family's. And he talked me out of it. And in that moment, I said, could you let the family know that their lack of love and support has helped bring me to this place, thinking that they would realize and embrace me. They didn't. They got angry with me, which is strange because they wanted nothing to do with me. They just said, hey, good luck. Good luck. So here I found myself in this space where I was still here. But that's all I was. I was here. I wasn't happy. And for a while, I cried and asked God to take me. And then I began, and I mean, I was literally on the floor begging. And at some point, something said to me, you're worth it. You're worth living whether you have support or not. You're absolutely worth it. And I thought, I don't know, because everybody wants to be validated by others. So what I did was I slowly got up, I got dressed, I began to walk. And then I began to shoot baskets. And what I would do is I'd stop and cry in between. I'd feel all that emotion, because don't stuff grief down. Don't stuff any pain down, because it will catch up with you if you do that. You gotta feel it, even though it's painful. You can't pretend it's not there, because it will come around and bite you. So I would walk, I would jog, I would shoot baskets, I would hike. And in between, I would stop and sob and cry. And I would literally do that during these moments. And then I would get back up and continue on. Well, that was in 2019. So we're rolling around into 2020, and COVID is just wretched. One day, I turned on the music because I'd been listening to music, but it wasn't doing anything for me. I would listen to Ashes by Celine Dion, Will You Be There, MJ, things that I guess I was really reaching out to the universe, to God, to the Creator. Like, are you there? What can you do with me? So I began to play some dance music. And I would stop in between when I was crying and just do a few moves. I would force myself to dance on the kitchen floor. Now, that's not an easy thing to do, because dance is really about joy. And when you don't have any joy and you're moving to the music, it's really, it's something that you had to force yourself to do. But one morning, I got up after all these months and I turned on the music and I found myself smiling. I hate to be emotional. I don't want to get emotional, but I found myself smiling. And in that moment, I fell in love with life. Now, when you've been kicked to the edge of the grave and you find that you've come to a place where you love being here, and music is what brought me back. I just kept playing it until I could feel it again. And in that moment, I thought, oh my God, well, in this case, I want to share this with other people because we're in the middle of 2020. There's all this pain out there, loss, sadness. I mean, COVID was so bad. And I thought, well, I feel like I want to start going back to the stage and, vying for parts and, being in a band. I mean, I felt excited to do that, but at the same time, I thought, but how can I share my joy of being here with other people and let them know that maybe they're driving down the road and, an extra smile never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But some people might be feeling a bit bad, and what if I give them a smile? And I knew that going back to the stage, I couldn't do that. I couldn't reach people immediately. So I decided that I was going to start dancing on the streets. I've never danced on the streets. I've danced on the stage. I've sang with orchestras, and as a matter of fact, I've never done karaoke. I kind of want to do karaoke, and I'm a little nervous about it, which is strange because I've sang with bands, a cappella,
yeah. I heard
piano.
you sing at Rain restaurant the other day.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know that was you singing. I saw you come in, and I heard someone singing in the back, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah. I fell into a beam, tripped over my own feet, but I regained my composure and sang Happy Birthday. But it was strange. I kind of like to do karaoke at some point. And that's supposed to be the easy part, not the orchestra. But that, I was accustomed. But like I say, I decided I would get out on the street. And it was the most difficult. I can't even impress upon you. When you walk onto a stage, the nervousness that you have, you could channel that into your performance. Well, I'd been there and done that many times. But I decided that this was going to be hard. I knew it. And I stepped onto the street at the corner of 71 and Bacchus, where AQ was at one time. I've sang in front of thousands, and I have never felt so scared and so nervous because it's raw. I call it a raw stage. But I stepped out, and I had forgotten to charge the MP3 player. So I looked to the heavens and said, thank you, because I was so scared. So I said, I'll try again another day.
Okay.
So I went home. So I went home and I was like, well, it didn't happen, but that's okay. So there was some relief in it. But so the very next day, I made sure it was charged. I walked back down to the exact same corner. And I said, if you are going to do this, if you are going to try to share your joy of life with other people and maybe bring them a little extra joy, maybe help them in a tough moment. I have had people, since all this has come about, come up to me and say, I was ready to leave until I saw you. That is, wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I got praise on the physical stage. But I wasn't doing this for praise. But what I didn't get on the physical stage was people saying, you saved my life.
And that takes a lot of bravery, just you putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
Because I can't picture myself being sober and dancing out on the street. I can't. Like maybe after like a margarita or two, I might. But just sober and just being out there dancing on the street, that would make me anxious.
Well, if I see that you've had a couple, I'll see what I can do. I'll drag you out there.
I'll dance out there. But you do this. You go out there. You're on Emma. That's where that's the main place that you're at, right?
It is. I do still share the love around Northwest Arkansas. So sometimes I'll go into a restaurant and sit down and eat, and someone will walk up to me and go, "Excuse me, are you dancing, Vicki?" And I'm just like blown away. It's always like the first time it's ever happened because it's like, well, I'm in Fayetteville or I'm in Rogers or Bentonville. So it's, I share the love, but this is home, and it's always been home.
So what are you listening to when you're dancing?
I'm very eclectic,
Because like from an outsider's point of view, you look like you're listening to some Michael Jackson when I see you dancing.
I do listen to MJ for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, No more than just the mix. It's really a mix. I love music for the sake of it. You know, people talk about the 80s and the 90s, and I get it because certain types of music are from different eras. But honestly, a song, however I'm affected by that song, whether it's from the 30s, because I've done some 30s stuff. I've even danced to some 30s stuff out here. Yes. Or 2 months ago, and I, you know, it's always about the music. It's always about the song. So for me, it's not a particular genre or style. It's just that song.
You'll dance to everything.
I can dance to pretty much anything. I do enjoy some, you know, a bit more than others. But I love it all. I'm eclectic, and it's just a wonderful experience to get to do that for people.
And are you out here every day?
I'm out here most days. You know, I know it shocks people that I have laundry and that I have obligations. And they're like, because people go, why aren't you here? Why aren't you here? And I'm like, I know 24/7. It's, you know, I really have things to do sometimes. So it's interesting, but they mean it with love. You know, they just miss me being here.
The only reason why I asked that is just so people can see you if they haven't experienced it. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
when can people expect you?
No, in the beginning, I could be out 5 hours in a day, like.
That's such a good workout too, right? Because you're constantly moving.
I never dance for exercise, but it is a nice default.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you ever count your steps, like on your phone?
No, again, it's not about calories. It's everything I do is out of the love of performing. Everything. So that is just something that is nice plus, but it's not anything that. I mean, everything I do is entertainment, so I don't think of it in terms of exercise. I do understand that it helps me stay healthy, and you know, having said that, I've been stress eating lately, so I've been doing that. You know, State of the Nation's kind of been tough. So, but yeah, I don't really think about that at all because my focus is really on, you know, I've entertained for years, and so that's part of me. So. Exercise is just, I mean, obviously they go hand in hand, but I've never danced for that reason. Oh, no. It's about giving. And of course, receiving is nice. When I say that, you know, the love that people give back.
What does that look like to you? Like when you're out there dancing, what is some of like the immediate feedback that you're hearing from people when you're out there?
There's nothing like local officers rolling down their windows and screaming like teenagers. I hope I'm not in trouble. Yes.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. Okay. Like, that's what I'm saying, like teens. Like, oh my God, that's Vicki. And that's amazing to me. I hope I don't embarrass anybody, but it has happened, and it's wonderful. But yeah, just seeing the joy on people's faces. And of course, people come from all over the world and want their picture taken with me sometimes. And I'm like, really? Or want to dance with me. So it's just nice to know that the feedback is really the joy you see in people's faces. The child that runs up to you, having seen you previously, and ask, are you the dancing lady? It's just the waves, you know, they'll honk. But really, just knowing that I'm bringing joy to them, just seeing it on their faces, that's the feedback. That's the main thing. That's the love. You know. What
do you like? We talked a little bit about this before we started recording, on the perception that people have of you. You know, I have my perception is you're just out there, just dancing, trying to put a smile on people's face, right?
That's the only reason I do it.
But I think that there's always negative people out there, right? Like, it doesn't matter, like everything, even me and my activism, the more public you are, the more negativity you're going to receive.
There's no question.
How do you deal with that?
Well, I don't always deal with it well. Sometimes I smile and, you know, give them, you know, a hand heart sign. And sometimes I just stop and just look at them like, what's your problem? But most of the time, and I have paid a price a couple of times for calling someone a snob, who brushed me away like I was a stray animal, which, but honestly, I don't get a lot of it. I really don't. I think most opinions are kept to themselves if they don't smile or enjoy what I'm doing or wave or honk, most opinions are kept to themselves, but the negativity is there, and I've had it online too, and it was crushing. It was absolutely crushing because, see, I'm as strong as an ox and fragile as a feather. And that's why when you mentioned MJ, I feel like I could relate to him my entire life because I feel like I have the heart of a child. And so I got him in ways not just about his music, but just like felt like this kinship with someone that I never met. But the negativity is always there. Again, him. Anybody that's that famous, the negativity will always be. You cannot get, and this is what I've learned, and it's been a hard lesson. Even though I don't get a lot of it, 1,000 people could say, "Oh, we love what you do," and 1,001 can say, the next one says, they'll maybe give me a hand gesture. I've only gotten a few of those, but you don't forget them. I can count them on one hand, but you don't forget them. But the thing of it is that I am learning. I've learned, but the hard way is that everyone's not going to appreciate what you do, because anything in life, people don't appreciate you. 100% of the people won't appreciate you.
And I almost feel like the unknown, or people just don't understanding you, that they make their own perceptions of who you are.
Well, I'm sure they do. Having said that, if you get joy out of watching me dance or hearing me sing, people don't realize that I have a whole, performance history behind me. And the thing of it is they don't really need to know. I don't mind sharing it, but it's to bring a smile to someone's face. And if that happens, great. And if it doesn't, that's great. What they think of me really doesn't matter, because before I started all of this, I was living life. And the thing of it is that people still talk about you. They still have perceptions. People have perceptions of you, whether you're a public figure or whether you are, just someone that is living their life every day. People always have perceptions. The only difference is that when it's public, you notice it more, because people may say something or do something or put something online. You notice it more, but it's always been there. People will always talk about people. They'll always... I remember many years ago at a job, I didn't share what I did on the weekend, whether I went to the movies, whether I went to a concert, whether I was hanging out with friends or family. I didn't share with everyone, only maybe someone that I was close to at work, talk about my weekend. And people that I didn't know well would say, "What'd you do this weekend?" I'd say, "Well, not a whole lot," because I didn't know them. So they decided to make up a narrative. So that happens throughout life with most people, even if most people aren't aware of it. Someone somewhere has a perception of you that's negative. It's just that you know it more often, or you experience that more often when you're a public figure. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I love the mayor. I'm sure there are many people that don't. And I'm sure they have their perception of him. But it's the same thing throughout life. It's just that it can be harder when you're a public figure. And it can hurt because you hear it more often.
I agree. And I think you, talking about public figure, you're also uploading videos on TikTok. Can you talk about that, about like why you decided to put videos on TikTok and how that's been for you?
Well, honestly, to be honest, I didn't want to be on TikTok. I had someone in my family who was trying to talk me into it. when I came back to life and I was dancing and, I was dancing in public and I said, nah, I've never done social media. I'm not interested. I don't care. Well, 4 years later, I finally got talked into it. So it took 4 years. And I thought, wow, this is a really cool platform because, I am an actor, so I can create a character and do it 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
So I have, quite a few characters that I've done. And I never got to do that on stage. I mean, I did improv, but it wasn't the same, and I was two characters in a movie, but it wasn't the same as getting to create that from scratch, just coming up like Myrtle. She's got curlers in her hair and her vices. She does smoke, but she's a great lady and she can't really dance, but she has love for music and she never gets any housework done because she turns on the radio. So that's just something that I was able to do that I'd never done before on any stage. And I found that fascinating. So it's just immense creativity that you can bring to that platform. And that's why I really, really love it. I do. I mean, I think there's plenty not to love in this day and age and with the cell and so on and so forth. But the platform itself and what you can do with it.
You also put dancing videos on there, huh? You put
I
dancing.
do downtown videos.
I caught you the other day. You didn't see me, but you were filming at the what's it called, the Shiloh Square.
Well, actually, interestingly enough about that, I'm sorry I didn't see you. I would have waved.
No, you're good. You were busy. I was walking with my wife, and you were just dancing away.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing of it is generally what I do is after I've performed singing and dancing throughout the establishments, I'm like, well, I got to give something to TikTok. That audience, if you will. And so I will go down there, even if I'm tired, I will go down there and make something for the TikTok audience because I may have entertained audiences down here, outdoors and indoors, in past several hours, but I've not got anything for my TikTok audience.
And you've created quite like a very supportive community there on TikTok. I see when you upload something, you'll have people that be like, oh, good job, Vicki, all these different things. Like people are super supportive of you on there.
They are, but I think some of them still don't realize that, I'm an entertainer. So they're sweet. They're just like, great video. It's like, it's like, okay. Or someone will say,
but I see a lot of positivity. There's
99.99% positivity, and that's not negative either. It's just it's like, did you grasp what I did? But sometimes they'll say, keep dancing. Like I just started dancing last week. Keep dancing, girl. And I'll say a couple of times, and I hope they forgive me. A couple of times I say, you don't say to a chef, keep cooking.
What are some like dancing goals that you have for yourself? Like, do you want to dance? Is there a specific place you want to dance that you haven't danced at?
I've danced on stages, and that's what I tell people. I've been there. I've done that. Even though singing was my full-time thing, I acted and I danced too. And so they'll say, well, are you going to go to the medium and try? I said, I've been there. See, so this has just become maybe my last stage. I don't know.
So you're just doing it for the love of the game then?
I still love entertaining and I miss singing a lot. That's why I thought about, well, I might start doing karaoke or singing at weddings again or something like that. As a matter of fact, my first wedding gig, I was 22 years old, moved to Los Angeles, and my roommate heard me singing. And her friends who had never heard me invited me to sing at their wedding. And they did not see me till after the wedding. I was in the balcony and I sang a cappella in Latin, Ave Maria.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. And I think they paid me $80. Right. So that was such an amazing experience to sing at my first wedding and to have that experience. But I had listened to Barbara Streisand sing that many times. Ave Maria? Yes. And so what I did was I just emulated her to the best of my ability.
Okay. How did you feel about the performance?
That one? I felt good. I knew that there was one word because I'd rehearsed it enough that I knew if I would know if I made a mistake. There was one word in the entire song that I just a smidgen mispronounced. Of course, you keep going. The show must go on. Nobody knew except for one, and that was the priest. And so when I went to shake his hand, he told me I did a good job, and he winked at me because he was the only one that knew that. Yeah. So.
We talked a little bit about at the beginning, well, before we even started the interview, about you possibly singing something. Do you want to sing?
Oh yeah. I'll just sing a little. Was it this little bit of
line? Was it this little light of mine? Was that what it was?
No, actually, ain't no sunshine when you're
gone.
Ain't
no sunshine when it's gone. So you want to go ahead and sing something for us?
Sure. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. And you're always gone too long. Anytime you go away.
There we go. Thank you so much. Vicki.
You're welcome. Hey, thank you so much.
Right now. I'm clapping. No one can see me, but I'm clapping.
Thank you so much for having me.
I had never heard. I heard you sing the other day, but I know it was you. So now seeing you, and you sing really good.
Well, I did it long enough. I did it long enough. I better know.
I know you know that. But just maybe people that have seen you don't know that you even sing. So maybe this is something new for them. They're gonna be like, oh wow, she's multi-talented.
It does surprise people when I say, yeah, I used to be a singer. As a matter of fact, I have sang at Turnbow.
Oh, okay.
I sang Flowers in 23 on stage.
Miley Cyrus song?
Yes.
Okay.
And the audience, I could hear them gasp.
Oh, wow.
I actually heard the gasp because they had no idea, and that was the fun of it.
Karaoke.
Surprise.
When you're going to start doing karaoke, you should start doing it.
Yeah, I might start doing it for sure.
Yeah. And so one of the questions that we ask all of our guests, which I'm not sure if dancing is going to be your answer because you're known for that, but what do you do to take care of your mental health?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't dance for that, but I'm sure it helps, right?
Mm-hmm. Movement
so,
helps.
But, long walks, quiet moments, getting into nature, and just feeling the closeness with the universe. It just kind of brings you back to a space of calm and peace. And the world's pretty chaotic right now. So anything that any of us can do for ourselves to not allow it to consume us. And it's a tough moment for the world. That's what I do for myself, is to just kind of get away. And I shoot basketball. I love basketball. And so, shooting baskets is just, I love it, but I will say that it is a nice moment to just put the world away and its cares away. So as much as I enjoy it, I know that it has a very positive effect, mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I've loved it for years. So, and I used to play tennis. And I was thinking about going out to Tawnytown. They've got a backboard, like on their basketball court and tennis court. So you can go out there yourself and just, hit it against that wall that they've put up. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're a very motivational person, and you talked a little bit about some of the tragic stuff that you've gone through in the past few years. Can you give some words of encouragement for people that might be listening, who might be going through something difficult right now, and they can kind of see you as someone who, I don't want to say has overcame it, because do we ever overcome tragedies? I don't know if we do, but we're able to push forward, right?
Right.
And I think you're someone that people can look up to and be like,
right.
Oh, look, she's pushing forward.
Well, here's the thing. Grief and tragedy, I believe, can find a place in your heart to just rest. But no, I don't believe you truly get over. You learn to live with things.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to live with it and enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. You haven't forgotten about it. And sometimes it you might feel bad about it, but it's just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say to someone going through a really, really difficult time and not seeing a way out, I saw no way out because I was so devastated that I'd lost people that I loved through death, through betrayal. And it was a very, very dark time, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is what I say to myself, even in moments now, and to other people is you can get to a better place. Mm-hmm. Nobody said it would be easy, but I am telling you, it can be done. Mm-hmm. I am living proof of that. And if I can do it, anybody can. Mm. And that's what I would tell someone. And don't stuff down your feelings, as I mentioned before. Feel your pain, cry, whatever you need to do. Mm-hmm. You can be angry, of course. That's all part of it. But keep working on yourself. Keep moving forward towards something positive, toward a purpose, toward desires, goals, even in your pain, even through your tears, even in your anger. Just keep moving forward because it will take you to a place that you never thought you could be, and you will be so much better off for it. And it will help you to realize who you really are, your true worth, and your strength. I do want to say overcome, but I agree with you. You don't really overcome it, but you can learn to live with it. I think, for lack of a better word, overcome can work, but I get what you're saying. But it can take you to a place you've never been, and you begin to live again. I created a whole new life for myself. I literally created an entire new life. And I was at the edge of the grave. So I'm here to tell anybody, just keep moving forward. Or crawl. And if you can't take it one day at a time, you take it 1 hour at a time. And you pat yourself on the back. And you look in the mirror and you say, I'm worth it. And not only that, even if you have great self-worth already, but you're going through something terrible, just look in the mirror and say, I know I can do this. I got this.
Thank you for sharing that, Vicki.
You're welcome.
And we'll end it on that note. But I appreciate you being here. People can catch you dancing in downtown Springdale. Probably a lot of people that are listening to this episode already have seen you, maybe have interacted with you. So thank you for all you're doing, bringing people smiles to people's faces and motivating people, inspiring people, and just giving a lot of yourself to people of this community.
I love my community, and I'm grateful for my community. Thank you, Downtown Springdale.
Sounds good. And for everybody listening, that was the end of this episode this week with the living legend, Dancing Vicki, who you can see dancing all over downtown Springdale. If you see her next time, tell her you listened to this episode and tell her, that you are proud of her, of the work that she's doing and everything that she's been putting out to the community. For everybody listening, that's the end of the episode. Catch you all next week.